Hey guys, it's Loaf, back with our first PoE video on YouTube. So, I've been playing PoE since the launch last few days, not sleeping a lot, and getting my butt kicked by a bunch of bosses, just like the rest of you guys. While this isn't going to be a full build guide, I did want to showcase kind of what I'm doing and what my intentions are kind of going forward with the build. Eventually, once I'm finished fine-tuning everything, I plan on doing a normal kind of low-fashion build guide where I go through everything very in-depth. But kind of just want to let you guys know what I'm doing, and that way you guys can follow along with me if you'd like while I'm streaming on Twitch, and we can have fun kind of discovering the game and figuring out all the new tech. So for right now, I had leveled with a lightning sorcerer all the way through. I didn't do any of the cold shenanigans or anything like that. I just played your standard spark, flame wall, archmage kind of archetype. However, when I had hit endgame and started getting into maps, I noticed that it was very, very squishy without having any kind of crowd control or any way to deal with those monsters. However, unlike the cold builds, I was hitting stuff from like a screen and a half away. It was mainly just the random projectiles that would hit me from ranged mobs that would end up killing me. So I found a way to fix that, make it feel way nicer, and just chain freeze everything before you even run into the monster. So most of the time, by the time I walk onto screen, all the monsters are frozen or dead. So how I ended up doing that is all synergizing around one unique. This unique I got for pretty cheap. I think I paid about 6 exalts for it. All of the rest of my gear is very, very budget. As you can see in the video, I've got like 1700 mana or something. Not a ton. But this build is going to be revolving around the Call of the Brotherhood Topaz Ring. So what that allows the build to do is convert 100% of your lightning damage over to cold damage. And having that conversion allows us to do a lot of freeze buildup, allowing us to freeze monsters. Now, it's important to know that the damage from Archmage that allows you to get a whole bunch of lightning damage with scaling your mana doesn't actually convert with Call of the Brotherhood. And that's a good and a bad thing. It makes it harder to focus on one damage type. However, it allows us to very easily apply both shocks, chills, and freezes on our enemies. So that way we can benefit from a lot of different multipliers. We can do a lot of generic elemental scaling. And there's a few nodes that will actually give you damage per ailment that you have on the enemy, giving you some pretty comfy damage still throughout the build. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. So hopefully you guys can see the showcase and you like how it looks. You want to chain freeze everything from screens away, but still have that lightning feel, not feel forced to go down the cold route in order to play the game as a sorcerer. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll break it down a little bit. I also put together a quick build planner on Mobalytics for you guys to follow along. And then if you have any questions, feel free to put a comment down below or come say hi to me on Twitch chat over at twitch.tv/pinchingloaf. Alrighty, so the first thing I wanted to go over is kind of what would be required in order to play this build. The two things I would recommend before trying to swap it over: one, you're obviously going to have the Call of the Brotherhood ring so you can get the lightning to version. And then the second thing is I would probably recommend being at least around 1500 mana. That is because with the support gem Archmage, each one of your spell casts is costing a percentile of your mana, and then you're getting extra mana regen with your ascendancy node based on your maximum amount of mana. So you really can't sustain that until about 1500 mana it starts feeling comfy, and then every little bit of mana after that is really just kind of smoothing it out. So I would try to at least have those two things for a minimum until you swap over. Before then, you can just play any generic Spark Lightning kind of setup, and it should be just fine. That's how I got through the campaign before I made the switch, and then you should be good to go. Alright, and we should be finishing up this map here in just a second, and then we can go ahead and break down the Mobalytics Planner, just quickly go over how to read all of the information on there. Okay, guys, so like I said, this isn't going to be a full in-depth build guide yet. That is going to be coming down hopefully in a couple of days once I'm able to really push this far into the end game and min-max a few things. But this is what the planner looks like so far. I put some nice overviews and kind of explained what different stats you're going to be looking for. The equipment side of Mobalytics is still kind of in the works. Creating rare items is a little wonky as it's missing some of the stats, so I tried to give a brief explanation in here on what to look for on your rare pieces of gear. I was able to at least put in the Call of the Brotherhood unique, so you know what you're looking to buy in order to get the build on its feet. And then I did put in all of the skill gems that I plan on using and what I've got set up now. I try to make it very easy where the priority for the skill supports is just going left to right. So just fill them in as you can get them. And then I do have the full setup tree here for you guys. So if you have any questions here, sorry, sometimes it needs a refresh. There we go. All right, so here's the full skill tree and what I plan on doing with the build, just grabbing a bunch of the generic elemental damage and different things that give me multipliers based on how many ailments I have on the target. The biggest thing I want to call out as far as grabbing the Eldritch Battery, I would wait until you have about 2k to 2500 life before you do this, as it is going to completely convert all of your energy shield over to mana, getting rid of one of the layers of defense you have. Once I'm able to get probably around the 4k-ish mana point, I do plan on going mind over matter. I just need to do some more testing with it and see if I can actually sustain it once I'm at that mana pool. So I didn't want to put it on there yet, but that is the plan, which should make the build incredibly tanky once I get to that point. Yeah, other than that, everything else should be pretty straightforward. Grabbing generic nodes, grabbing some skill duration nodes. Your probably highest priority nodes are these two clusters up here that give you the extra projectile speed and duration for Spark. Otherwise, I swapped to the cold version around level 70-ish, and it's been pretty smooth sailing right from the get-go. So let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comments. Come hang out in the Twitch chat. I'm happy to help walk you guys through anything, how to craft gear, how to do any of that. And then hopefully have a full in-depth build guide like you guys are used to with my last Epoch guides here in a couple days, where I break down every single node, when to take what, and why. So hopefully this guide helps you guys out, and I will see you guys around.